Right-wing media has been pushing this conspiracy of the Jade Helm military exercises, and they have been predicting that it will end in violence. Well, it turns out that they were right, but it wasn't from the military taking over the Southwest. It wasn't from a military coup instituted by Barack Obama. No, it was right-wingers attacking the troops that I've heard growing up that they support so much. But no, multiple attacks against troops engaged in Jade Helm military exercises and just troops at bases in the past couple of days. First of all, this is in North Carolina. And I want you to remember, as we talk about this entire case, that North Carolina is not one of the states that the Jade Helm military exercise is even happening in. But despite that, 3 men from Gaston County were charged with conspiring to arm themselves with illegal explosive devices to combat what they saw as a potential military takeover. Documents were released showing 3 men who talked to this tipster. The documents alleged Walter Eugene Litteral, Christopher James Barker, and Christopher Todd Campbell stockpiled weapons and discussed how to build homemade explosive devices. Litteral also allegedly tried to purchase a firearm for Barker, who is a convicted felon, which of course you can't do.
There's no way that guy's name is Literal.
It's literal.
It just isn't.
It's at best metaphorical.
Yeah.
A tipster contacted the FBI back in June after becoming concerned that Litteral and Campbell were preparing to use lethal force against United States government forces in order to defend against the imposition of martial law or other infringements on their rights. The affidavit noted that the 2 men had discussed their belief that Jade Helm 15 was actually a cover for the implementation of martial law with the tipster. And we have a particular quote from one of the men. "Let me tell you something, I gonna have my fucking house rigged up. These motherfuckers try to come in my house, it's going off. We gonna look here, we're partying." It's an intelligent man.
My favorite affidavit, put that graphic up again if you could, guys, please. My favorite is an affidavit that spells gonna, G-U-N-N-A. Because only a true Second Amendment wingnut would spell going to, bring it down to gonna, which is acceptable.
Yeah.
And then turn
G-O-N-N-A.
it into right, G-O-N-N-A, gentle spell. But you're not. That's not a Young Turks misspelling. That's taken from the affidavit.
Exactly.
Gonna.
Yes. We have another quote. I got a fucking 45 beside my bed. I got a 45 and a 9mm in my truck. I've got a 9mm and a 380 or a 380 in her car. He doesn't even know where all of his guns are. Safe full of weapons. You know what? Every time I open up this damn safe, I mean, I've got at least 30 weapons that I can see, and some tucked all the way in the back. And so, yes, these 3 men, despite the fact that they don't even live in a state where the military exercise is going on, are so fired up about this exercise that they have been told by people they trust on the internet and on the radio is going to end with the end of democracy in America and the imposition of martial law, and they've decided to go and attempt to kill soldiers. Thankfully, in this case, they've been stopped, they've been caught. But we're going to get to, in just a little while, in Mississippi, there are still men on the loose who have been firing shots at soldiers who are actually engaged in the exercise.
Yeah, I mean, you have people in positions of authority talk this kind of nonsense. You run the risk of this happening, and the shame is that nobody in that position of authority seemingly feels any responsibility. The same right-wingers who went ballistic when Michael Brown's stepfather, in his moment of tremendous, unfathomable grief, stood up and said some stuff that I suspect he probably wouldn't say now, right?
Definitely.
That was somehow a call to action when that guy wasn't a leader, didn't have a talk show, wasn't an elected politician, wasn't.
And there were police surrounding the area already.
There were police surrounding it. Was not in a position of any responsibility really whatsoever, and as we know, was grief-stricken. Had the worst thing that could happen to any parent happen. But they were ready to have him arrested, right? But of course, you start talking about whether any of these people who covered Jade Helm, any of these nutjobs on the radio, any of the Fox News guys who didn't crush it, any of the politicians who have sort of at least winked at these people because they don't want to upset what is a natural political constituency. Any of these guys, we suggest to them that they're behaving irresponsibly, or that they should arguably, that maybe under, what's the name of the case, Chaplinsky versus New Hampshire, that are these arguably fighting words that are not protected free speech. We make that suggestion, then, and I don't think nobody should be arresting these guys, but the people who say it. But we suggest that, then it's an infringement suddenly on free speech. Again, the hypocrisy is thick.
Yeah, and I guess I don't know, fortunately or unfortunately, you can't tie these particular men to any of the, and there were many people on, as I said, the internet, the radio, and also, as you point out, politicians who were either starting the conspiracy theories about Jade Helm or were simply trying to get a little bit of support by, as you said, winking and nodding along with it. Yeah, and I'm not just talking about like Alex Jones, who continues to make videos about how the country is done for because of Jade Helm. No, but like Sean Hannity did segments about Jade Helm.
What's he going to say afterwards?
He's going to say that, like the rapture pastors. It doesn't matter if the day passes without the rapture. Their followers will only support them more. He predicted that the world is going to end this October because of nuclear war, World War III. And he also said that every single billionaire and millionaire has already left the country. Those are obviously untrue, and in October we'll know that the first is untrue. Do you think he's going to make a vlog apologizing? That was Alex Jones specifically. I watched a couple of his videos. I must have been drunk or something. He's not going to apologize for that. And he's not going to feel any grief or guilt over this either.
Or he'll, quite the opposite, or he'll suggest that talking about it brought it into the open and it crushed their plans.
Oh, yeah. And look, and again, it's not any of their individual direct faults, obviously. You can't control every crazy person that listens to what you say, but you can be responsible for what you put out there. And they are, to some extent, contributing to arming crazy people with a path. You take a crazy person who has access to weapons, you give them a cause, and maybe sometimes they will actually act out with violence. In this case, they were stopped.
Steve Van Zandt from the E Street Band was once on Howard Stern, and Howard asked him a great question, and I think it applies to Alex Jones. Mm-hmm. Like, these guys are so wound up in the things they talk about. And so Howard was talking to Steve about Springsteen, what he was like. And there's Van Zandt and Springsteen are friends for a long time. And Howard asked him, and I'll try and use a better word here. He goes, listen, does Bruce ever talk about punani? Or is he always talking about migrant workers? Like, do you ever just, right? And then Van Zandt laughs. He was like, guys, it's pretty much migrant workers. Right, right, yeah. And so I want to like, does Alex Jones ever say like, oh man, this coffee's terrible? Like, can we get some new coffee here?
Oh, or is it?
I'd like a fresh pot. Or is there some reason?
Fucking Obama.
Right, who got to this coffee? You know, does he ever give it a rest?
Okay, I want you to check the building. Are there any Jews in the building? Right, do they have any coffee?
Right. Is there ever a moment where you're like, hey man, can we just talk about college football for like 45 seconds?
I don't know, man.
I don't know. It's hard to imagine.
I watched one or two. And again, we're focusing on him. But as I said, it's not just him. It's a number of people on the radio. It is Sean Hannity, other people on Fox News. He's just one that happens to be on the same medium that we're on. As I said, North Carolina is not the only place where this is going on. 2 days in a row, there have been shots fired attempting to hit soldiers or the buildings that they're currently working in or living in. Authorities are now looking for just one suspect who allegedly fired shots near soldiers Tuesday, this is in Mississippi, at one of the military sites where the Jade Helm 15 military training exercise is expected to take place. They believe he's in some sort of pickup truck with the words "Broken Arrow" written on it. Apparently he was a fan of that movie, I guess. But anyway, yeah, and he's still out in the open. And so here, this is two people. We're talking about a multi-month-long military exercise. Will there be other people? We know that in Texas there are groups, some of which are clearly conspiracy theorists, some of whom say that they are more responsible and they're just curious citizens, but they're following the soldiers around.
And they're following the governor. Yes. They're following the lead of Greg Abbott, of the crazier than Rick Perry governor of Texas.
Yeah,
it's amazing. Good work, Greg Abbott. Didn't think that was possible.
Yeah, but again,
who said you want to keep a watchful eye? You don't need to keep a watchful eye. It's your army having training exercises. You should be honored. Mm-hmm. Make them something to eat. Make them some of that good Texas tri-tip.
Yeah.
Like, do something useful. Give them a hot Dr. Pepper. I think they only have that in the winter.